Yes, we can work with the bees and we can work with each other to get through whatever they're processing or to help with health and help with abundance and happiness and joy and peace and letting go of old energy. So the way I look at it now, it's our turn to work with each other. It's really special.
I feel like Gaia, maybe for the first time, is asking us to be a part of this
I
ascension.
agree with you.
The
No,
bees,
take
it's like
action. Take action.
we're all coming together for the first time to actually be challenged because of free will. We are being challenged in making decisions to be able to discern things that we've never maybe had to even think about ever before. But being able to come together and work with the bees and the trees and the flowers, right? And then in
Yes,
turn,
yes.
all of it not only helping them, but that in turn helps Gaia. And then that also helps humanity and creates the ascension. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Jackie Lea, spiritual medium, healer, and earth keeper. And I'm here today to talk to you a little bit more again about the mission that I did in Greece with the bees and to introduce to you a new friend of mine named Chris Van Dahm. And he lives in Florida and he is a beekeeper. And we're going to talk today about the life of the bees. We're going to talk about the mission that I had in Greece. And then we're going to let Chris actually talk about what the symbolism behind the bees and some of the things that happened in Greece, what they actually mean. And so I'll start by giving you a little bit, just a really short rundown about what I was sent to do. And then I'm going to let you know about how I met Chris. And then I'll let Chris talk about more about himself. So as an earth keeper, I am sent to specific locations around the world, periodically, just different times, usually once one location a year, normally. And I never know until I arrive what my spirit guides are asking me to do there. But normally it's to either clear land and property, cross earthbound spirits over, remove negative energy and entities, and to do some type of healing for that location. But this time, when I was sent to Greece, it was something completely different. And I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But it's such an interesting story that's why Chris and I are coming together today to share with you the insights about this, because it's something that not only are he and I working on independently as earth keepers, but we're actually going to be asking you to maybe play a part in this as well, because it's something that everyone on the planet can actually step into and help Gaia out. All right, so I ended up meeting Chris back in October of 2023. Elizabeth April, otherwise known as EA, did a video introducing Chris to the world, letting everybody know about his honey, which we are going to talk very into about a little bit later into this video, because his honey is absolutely amazing. And my spirit guides at that time were like, you've got to connect with him and get this honey. And to make a long story short, I did. And I've been using it now for, well, ever since October of 2023. And I absolutely love it. So that's how I was introduced to Chris. And so, yeah, now I'm just going to let Chris take it off. You can introduce yourself and tell us, like, basically what you do, but save the honey part until later. We're going to talk a little bit later about the honey. But how did you become a beekeeper?
Hello, everyone. Christopher Von Dahm here with Liquid Gold Honey. Nice to see everybody here today. Jackie, thank you for having me on. And it's nice to see you. And it's, of course, nice getting to know you over the last year. And I love what you're up to. So, keep on with all the good work. And, I've been doing this for more than 10 years now. And my great grandfather came to this country, America, on my mom's side. This is how I got started. More than 125 years ago from Lithuania. And our family had a mountain house in Pennsylvania. And he was like 95, and I wasn't even five yet. And he basically was saying, "Oh, come on, Christopher," in Lithuanian. I couldn't understand it, but I could understand what he was saying without understanding Lithuanian. And he said, you stay here. And he'd put his gloves on, the veil on, get the smoker going. And we had a farm up there. And he'd go out to the back of the farm. He had about 50 hives. And he'd put some smoke on the bees. And he took out like the best honey I ever had. I never tasted anything like that ever. They don't have anything like that in the store, nothing even remotely close. That particular honey from the mountains, Pennsylvania, in that remote section was apple blossom. Believe it or not, I still have a jar of honey that he harvested through the farm up there more than 50 years ago. And once in a while, I still take a bite. It's still good. So we tell people when they buy a jar of honey from us, they automatically get a 5,000-year warranty. It just comes with it because they found it in the Egyptian tombs, the honey from thousands of years ago, and it was still good. So, I mean, of course, it's the enzymes in the honey that protect it. And when the bees are putting the honey in, each cylinder within the hive, they're actually adding their frequency with their wings and their vibratory sound. It's that, they're the highest frequency animal on the planet, and the honey, especially the honey that we sell, is the highest frequency honey on the planet. And what we've been told in the galaxy, which is very interesting, and we're very grateful for this. So it's a really special mission that we're on, helping people and the planet, really, and really the galaxy and beyond, the universe at this time, because we all are kind of working on this thing together of, raising the frequency of the planet and everyone on it. And, like we had talked about previously, this planet and this solar system is moving through the photon belt in the galaxy, which is a lot of very like high frequency energy. And that's coming down in waves to this planet. It's hitting the sun and then coming back in the form of solar flares, which is amplifying this photonic energy or light energy even more, which is then, in essence, just raising the frequency to everything and everyone on this planet and in this solar system. Huge part of the ascension. And, we're really grateful to just be part of it, playing our role in this ascension, procedure with the bees and the honey, and uplifting the planet and all the inhabitants on the planet, and really in the solar system and in the galaxy, because, there's probably beings coming here right now from, other parts of the solar system and the galaxy. I know maybe people think I'm crazy, but, there's some travelers. They might have got permission from some people in some base somewhere, say, hey, okay, you had to stop at some passport control. Okay, you're clear. You can come on in now. So I'm not sure exactly how that works, but it is interesting. And I'm pretty sure something like that is actually going on right now. As long as they have clearance, they can come. And they say that we're on the precipice of opening the travel embargo. So they are going to be able to legally, allowed to come to our planet. And then we're going to be allowed to leave the planet. I guess you have to have probably clearance, and you need to have the strategy. You probably need to have the resources. So there's a lot of things that, that go along with that. Although it is really interesting. And after they open the travel embargo, the word is they're going to open the trade embargo. So then we can actually trade with pretty much all species in this galaxy and beyond, which some people say is going to kick off a multi-thousand-year golden age on this planet. So I'm very excited to be alive right now, and to be on this planet, and to be assisting. And I'm grateful for you and our friend Elizabeth April, and basically everyone who's assisting and who is just sort of, doing whatever they can do, even if it's just working on themselves. And, okay, how can I become a better person? How can I be more grounded? How can I be more kind? Like, what can I do? How can I do that situation different and maybe do it better this time? These are questions that I ask myself all day, every day. What could I do? See what I just did in that situation. Okay, now how can I do it different next time? That, maybe get a different result. And just to,
absolutely,
just constantly become better. And anyway, I'm real grateful.
Well, talking about
we just
roles,
talked about a lot of things I wasn't really planning on talking about, but
no, it's great.
It is interesting though, and I think it's valid information that really nobody else talks about this stuff. And I think it
Mm-mm.
needs to be talked about
Oh
because
yeah.
it's galactic information. Yeah.
Hmm. And as we talk into, the roles that we have here, I had no idea when I was going to Greece again because my guides don't tell me what I'm doing until I get there. So the very first day, I went down to the beach and stepped on a bee and got stung. And then from there, I was like, I got back to the house that I was contracted to stay at. And I asked my guides, I'm like, why did I get stung by a bee? And they were like, to introduce you to the mission. And I was like, what's the mission? They
Ah,
go, the bees. And I was like,
yeah.
oh my gosh. And that's when
Yeah.
it all started going into motion. And everything from there on out had to do with the bees. I would see beehives painted on the roads all over the place, right? Um, the
Wow.
the
That's
first
cool.
thing that they brought through, that my guides brought through, because I want to talk about like what my guides brought through, and then I want you to go into the symbolism of what a lot of that
Sure. So
means.
that's cool.
Um, because the first thing that I noticed that day that they were on the beaches, they were dead. They were all over the beach, and there were a few that were alive, but they were spinning around in a circle. And my guides were
Ah,
telling me um, that they had been poisoned, that there is a lot of miscommunication going on the planet
mm,
that is impacting the bees. They were talking about I had to start with the healing of the trees and the root system because there's blockage in that. And then they went into telling me that I would be working into the healing the toxins in the air, and then helping the water because the waters had been contaminated, and then working into helping the pollen, the flowers, and the hives um, with any confusion that had been stored, maybe from it. But those are the things that my guides were telling me. And then they said that the source of all of that miscommunication, blockage, toxins, etc., was coming from 5G EMF and radiation. And so those are the basic things that my guides came in and said, this is what you're going to be working on while you're here on this mission, particularly on that island of Thasos. And then from there, it was just a matter of everything in my life that I was going to experience on that island was um, had to relate to the bees. So everything that personally happened to me was supposed to be exactly what the bees were experiencing,
wow.
which was
Wow.
traumatic. So
Wow.
so let's start with that. So the first thing was I got stung by a bee, and that was like, the introduction of we're going to work with the bees. And then I, again, noticing that a lot of them are dead, but the ones that were alive were spinning in circles. And so this is where I'm going to let you kind of jump in and talk about that.
Okay, cool. Well, have you ever heard of apitherapy?
No.
So it's sort of an art that it's not really used openly in this country because of some of the interworkings here, although it's more openly used in places like Russia and Australia. And what it is, it's called bee sting therapy. And even the Egyptians, thousands of years ago, they knew about this. There are components in bee venom that scientists on the mainstream have not even figured out what that is yet. Similar to like some of the stuff in royal jelly, it's so complex. There's some anyway, it's very special. So many people that are in Russia or in Australia have purposely stung themselves if they had an ailment. Some people, if they had a cartilage issue or a sore knee or sore elbow or sore wrist or sore hands, it's kind of open knowledge that it helps to because it's a natural steroid. It's an organic natural steroid that's in the bee venom. It actually helps to alleviate arthritis. That's one of the main, most commonly known aspects of it. Although it's so special that it helps just about everything. So if you really dig deep, you can find a study in Australia which shows that there was a woman, she had like diagnosed with stage 4 and around her breasts. And I think they gave her the venom equivalent to somewhere more or less than 350 bee stings around her breast. Within an hour, it was gone because the venom was stronger than that other thing that was inside of her. So one overpowered the other.
Mm.
And anyway, it's
Mm.
absolutely fascinating how that works. It does something.
Yeah.
So through my own studies about this, I know that the venom activates something in our immune system that's normally dormant. So it wakes something in our immune system up that actually makes our immune system very strong. So it helps your body, to eliminate and up level to eliminate those situations on its own.
Mhm.
So it just wakes up your own body so your own
Mhm.
body can do the job that it's supposed to do.
Well, that's
And of
probably what my
course,
guides wanted then, huh? My guides wanted me to
well,
get
that's
stung.
there's no mistakes. Absolutely. So, and of course, because like we were saying, the bees are the highest frequency animal on the planet. So not only when you eat their products does it raise your frequency, the venom raises your frequency. So this mistake of you stepping on the bee, it not only helped you physically, it also raised your frequency to help to then better, like you were saying, match the frequency of the bee to sort of like your guides were telling you, it was like an entrance or a segue into their world,
Oh,
which is
wow.
pretty cool, actually.
That's pretty
So
cool.
talk about a cool like entrance and invitation into their world. And that's cool that
Hmm.
you were aware enough to, listen to your guide and say, okay, rather than, going and crying and say, always me to whoever on the phone, you said, no, it's actually like, now instead of running this way, I'm going to go this way. Instead of running away from the bee, I'm actually going to go and help the bees and
Hmm.
help the planet. So for that, I am grateful because you did something that is actually the opposite of what the average person would have done. So
Yeah.
I commend you and I acknowledge you for that. And I think that
Thank
is
you.
wonderful what you
Thank you.
did and how you did it. I'm actually getting the goosebumps right now because it's very special. You acknowledging and really stepping into your mission. And I find that very special and just very commendable. So, I think
Thanks.
that's absolutely really cool. So
Yeah. I
I want to
try to do
commend you
that
for that.
because my guides are really unique in the ways that they bring these missions onto me. And like I said, I knew that there had to be a reason why that had happened. I just didn't know.
Yes.
I just didn't know yet. But that's what, okay. So tell me, because I remember asking you real specifically when we talked when I was in Greece, I'm like, why are they
Yeah, you
making a
called me from
circle?
Greece. Yeah.
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 I was like, why are they circling? Because I
Oh,
keep
and
getting
I
the
don't
fact that
remember
they're
if we talked
confused.
about that or not. We did talk about some things, and that was cool. So years ago, like this was probably almost 10 years ago, where I had some bees on a property and I had put them there not long ago. And I didn't know that once in a while, one of the neighboring properties would spray chemicals or pesticides or whatever they were spraying.
Mhm.
So sometime, like, I don't know, a few months after I put the bees on this property, I had noticed and seen that this neighboring property had done some spraying. And then I found at least one or more bees sort of like almost on like that other property that did the spraying on the ground, spinning in circles with their tongue out, which showed me that they had been poisoned. So then, I had to find a better place for those bees because, some people are just so caught up in this, just, the matrix, whatever you call it, the programming that, oh, they think that they need these companies to come once a month to spray either their lawns or their gardens or their fields. And they think that the benefits outweigh anything else, but it's really the opposite of that. So anyway, and then if you really think about it, that stuff gets into the ground, which gets into the drinking water, which is really, and that's for all of us. So it's not good, for
Mhm.
any of us. I think people are slowly coming around. Not too long ago, I was I drove through a different area and I took a road I had never taken before. And I saw more signs along this kind of the main road that's in and out of this area in front of people's homes that say, do not spray pesticides on
Mhm.
this area, because I think that like the government in that area would spray the sort of main area except
Mhm.
for the places that had the sign. And I
Mhm.
saw so many properties right next to each other that all had these signs: do not spray any chemicals or any pesticides on my property. And I was so grateful to see so many of
Mhm.
these signs so right next to each other from one property to another property, that it showed me people are, waking up to this. And I wish the changes would happen instantaneous, but they are slowly happening. So for that, I'm grateful. It's not always
Yeah.
in my time, it's in the universal time.
Yeah. I've seen that in Alaska too. In the
Oh,
small
good.
town that I live in, there are people, yeah, that are putting signs out that say don't spray, because you're right. It's like the state will come through and they'll spray areas near
Yeah.
main roads and stuff like that.
Ah.
And I saw that, and that was probably 2 summers ago that I noticed these signs. So
And
let's
there's
hope and pray
we're
that they do.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
I hope
Well, we're
so.
moving in the right direction, I think. So I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so talking about the 5G, the EMF, the radiation. What do you feel about
Oh,
that?
yeah. So, I mean, I think that's the main issue right now. So, there's an interesting book called The Invisible Rainbow, which illustrates in the book how these towers, I mean, one example was of a place in Spain that there was a preschool and there was an office building right next to the preschool. And then all of a sudden, the office building, on the top of the office building, put all these like radio tower, 5G, whatever transmission devices that are similar, if not the same as the 5G towers, on the top of this building. And there were this, they transmit these radio waves, whether it helps people's cell phones or internet or communication devices or internet devices, whatever it is. And then, shortly thereafter, and I don't even mean years, I mean months after they put these radio, towers on the top of this building, these little kids in this preschool that were 2, 3, 4 years old all started getting cancer, many of them. So the parents protested. They said, you need to remove these off this building right now. And enough parents got together in Spain that they removed these receivers and these 5G towers and these other emitters, EMF emitters from this building. And, I wish just they would do this everywhere. So our research shows that these towers now, they're all over this country, and most likely they're in many countries, I think. They connect and they're able to connect from tower to tower to tower to sort of create. And now they're coming in from satellites, and this planet is basically surrounded in satellites. So this energy is coming in from satellites, it's coming from tower to tower, and it's creating this sort of a veil of this like EMF energy around the planet, which, as we know, it gives you radiation. So um, there is technology. I was talking not too long ago with a chief engineer from Boeing Aerospace, and he said, yeah, we have found a technology that it's a laser and we can point it at these towers and it will transmute the energy from negative to actually positive and uplift us all and help us all. So now the next step is, instituting this. And
Right.
unless, I like the term, the powers that were, figure out a way, or they do it themselves, or figure out another better way that can still help people to communicate and access the internet without harming the animals, the individuals, the species, and everything on the planet. I mean, even little trees, even like, if you put like sprouts that are sprouting next to a Wi-Fi router, they all die. I mean, that's
Right.
just so
But
that's
see,
that's
that's what I
basically
think that
what it
people
is.
don't realize. I think that there are so many
I
people in
know.
the world, which is why I feel like this video might be important, just whoever ends up watching it, because they may not know that the radiation
Oh,
that
that's a good
does
point.
come off,
That's a good
you
point.
know,
That's
that
and
it is actually is
yeah,
harming the bees and the trees. And because
yeah,
again, my guides were like, you are here to help the trees, the
yeah,
flowers, the bee.
yes,
And it's like all from radiation.
yes. Good point. And we need the bees because not only is 1 in 3 bites of all of our food on the planet, the bees had something to do with pollinating those crops. So what we do is not only the honey that the bees produce that we sell and the pollen that the bees bring in that we concentrate down to make it into a liquid, super concentrated, bee pollen concentrate, highest frequency food on the planet. When we eat it, not only does it uplift us and our consciousness and raise our
Yeah.
frequency, it actually removes the radiation from our body.
Right.
So, I
Right.
mean, and any other toxins. So, anyway, we need the
One,
bees, and
yeah.
bees need
Well,
us
think
too.
about the bees as being the main, it's almost like the bees were the main source that we needed to go to in order to start this chain reaction.
Yeah, that's one way to look at it. Or, they're kind of like, in a way, at a higher place in the food chain because they help to produce the food. So they're really special. Just, as we were talking about, they raise the frequency of us. And I mean, the way I look at it is the bees themselves and their products that they produce are part of this ascension on this planet at this time, and they're very special. And I
Yeah,
think you may have asked, well, do they know that? And
I did. That was one of my next questions coming in.
oh,
Do they,
oh,
that was it. I was
that's an
like, do the
interesting.
bees feel the suffering? Do they know what their job on this planet is? Are they even aware of what we've done as humans? Not to maybe support them? And how do
The
they feel?
answer to all of your questions is yes. So, with all of us, it's actually in our DNA to just know. We just know. And we also just remember, whether it's in our conscious or our subconscious, we just know. So the bees, they just know. And guess what? Yes, they feel pain if something negative happens to them. Although they're so high frequency, they love us no matter what. They always love us. They always want to help us. They're here to help. So that's how I look at us now. Not only you and I, although everyone on the planet, it's our turn. Now, yes, we can work with the bees and we can work with each other to help the planet heal, to help all the individuals on the planet, you know, get through whatever they're processing, or to help with health and help with abundance and happiness and joy and peace and letting go of old energy and opening up to this beautiful, golden energy and light that we're getting into with this photonic belt, and it's uplifting all of us and the planet. So the way I look at it now, it's our turn to work with each other. So, it's really special. And I there's a there's an older guy that is in his 80s that he runs a raw organic vegan market down in Coconut Grove, Miami. His name is Stan of Glazer Farms. Super. So he was one of the pioneers in this country in the raw organic vegan movement. Although he knows how special bees and honey are, so that's one thing that he is, you know, involved in and supportive of is the bees and the bee products. Even though he's not like a huge meat guy, but it doesn't matter if you eat meat or don't eat meat. It doesn't even matter. So, but he's so I don't know what the word is. It's like either grounded, he's wise, but I've known someone who's known him for 25 years. In 25 years, they got maybe 5 sentences out of him. He doesn't really talk. But and he's this huge, tall guy. He kind of looks like Tommy Chong. He walks around, and anyway, so I said, "Hey, Stan," one day, I said, do you think that bees and the bee products that they make, because they're so high frequency, they were put here, maybe by extraterrestrials or whoever to help us, little earthlings or Terrans or however you want to say it, to ascend? And I said, do you think that that's their purpose? And he said, you know what I think? He's like, I think that all of our purpose, including the bees and all of us, is to just live happily ever after. So I kind of love that. I kind of love that. It's simple and it's true in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I feel like Gaia, maybe for the first time, is asking us to be a part of this ascension.
I agree with you.
And
Yeah,
that the
no,
bees,
take
it's like
action.
we're all
Take action. Yeah.
yeah, we're all coming together for the first time to actually be challenged because of free will. We are being challenged in making decisions to be able to discern things that we've never maybe had to even think about ever before. But being able to come together and work with the bees. And I know that that's something that you and I want to talk about as we start wrapping this video up, because we want to be able to ask people to play a part, that we are not, that it's not just the earth keepers like you and I that are being asked to help Gaia. It's actually us maybe stepping in and doing things that we made a contract to do when we chose to incarnate here. But there are other things that that everyone on the planet can possibly do in order to help the bees and the trees and the flowers, right? And then in turn, all of it not only helping them, but that in turn helps Gaia, and then that also helps humanity and creates the ascension.
Yes. So, I mean, the way I look at it is we're ascending now, although I love what you just said. Now is the time for all of us to take action. So the time of just sitting on your couch and watching Netflix or TV all day, those days are over. So now, it's time. And if we're like going through something or having a hard time, or, a work thing or a relationship thing or a depression, whatever it is, for you, it might just be the time to just slow down and, slow down your breath, maybe meditate and dig deep within and say, okay, well, first, what can I do to heal and maybe to let go of everything that I've been holding on to? We're moving into a different era on this planet. Just let go of the past. Just let it go and release the death grip and let go of, if you have like a, health challenge, maybe you can find something that will help to lift you up, or maybe be around animals, or go hug a tree, or ground and maybe eat something different that's maybe more healthy. It's different for everyone. Maybe you want to, if you're around negative people, you might want to try being around positive people and maybe see how that makes you feel. There's so many, and it's just so different for all of us. And I think now is that time to, work through our stuff. And if there's something that we're afraid of. So for me, the way I worked through that some time ago is I had to confront it and sit with like my deepest, darkest fears and just sit like right there and just be in that until finally I was like, wait a minute, what was I afraid of? Like, this doesn't make sense. And then I just let it go. So that was how I released, that stuff that I was holding on to. And then when you release it, oh my gosh, it feels so good. And it
Mhm.
opens us up for this beautiful energy that scientifically is measurably coming in to this solar system, from outside, very far away. And it's
Mhm.
really special. And like you were saying, Jackie, and then once we work through our stuff, we can figure out ways that we can all work together and, accept and love and sort of just figure out, like, in a symbiotic relationship, how we can work together, because when we work together, it's even more powerful, and it amplifies the benefits to the bees, like you were saying, and the trees and the oceans and Mother Gaia and this solar system and this galaxy and this universe. So
Right.
geez, I mean,
Absolutely.
I'm so grateful. And we're now at this point where we're able to step into that so that
Mhm.
we can start, letting go of all that stuff in the past and then working together and figuring out, okay, this person's good at this. Okay, then they can do that. Or,
Mhm.
some you might ask yourself, well, what can I do? Or how can I contribute? And then one of the first questions might be, well, what do I like to do? That is positive. What do I enjoy doing? Because now
Mhm.
we're getting to an era of not doing what you have to do for money, but what do I like to do? What do I actually enjoy? What makes me feel good? What kind of, makes me happy that I can
Mhm.
do? And maybe I can figure out a way to get money from that. And maybe I can figure out a way that what I like to do will help people, the planet, nature,
Mhm.
and all of us. And
Mhm.
so, and then we all figure out
Absolutely.
how we can work together. Once we figure out what we can do, then we can figure out,
Right.
okay, well, I can do this, and then I can meet with somebody else who they know how to do this, and then they can do this.
Yeah.
And then, hey, that person knows how to do that. Then we can all get
Mhm.
together and then, like, even amplify it. And I think
Yeah.
that is really cool. And I
I
think
do
that's
too.
the age we're getting into.
Oh, I totally agree with you. And inviting people, especially if this is something that if people are watching and they've never thought about this ever before, but it resonates with them, like if it touches them within their own heart chakra, I would encourage them to just um, allow yourself to do something that may seem crazy, because I get a lot of people when I talk to them about if they're not feeling all that well, I'll say go connect with a tree and breathe with a tree. And they'll be like, "Oh, but somebody might see me." And I'm like, "You got to let that go. You just got to let that go." And you and I have talked about this before, that with Mother Earth, with Gaia, with the all of the aspects of nature, when you want to connect, and again, you're doing it with probably the intention to help yourself, but you are helping so much more than that. Ask permission, go out and be like, "Tree, is it
Yay.
okay if I touch you?"
Yes.
If it's the
Thank you for
water
saying
that you
this.
resonate with, asking the
Yes.
spirit of the water, "Is it okay to come
Yes.
in and connect?" It's the flowers, maybe ask the flowers permission. That is something
Yes.
that I have tried to do no matter where I go and no matter what I'm looking for, so that that connection can be made. And then I actually even ask for integration. I'll
I love
ask
it.
for the integration of that energy to connect with mine. And so once you've done that, then allow whatever it is that comes to you naturally to manifest, whether it's visually thinking something, or
Mm,
maybe there are intentions that are coming to you vocally. Maybe some people feel like sound or light language or something
mm.
like that all of a sudden is brought into their awareness. And again, for some people, it might be things that they've never experienced before, but I want to encourage people, don't be nervous about that. Don't be
Yes.
embarrassed. Don't let your ego talk you out of it, because it will remind you that you've never done it before, or that people might think you're crazy. But if you think you're crazy, you're probably not. So
Right. That's a
just
healthy question to ask, actually.
Yeah, I had a friend tell me that one time. I was like, I think I'm going, because when I started realizing that I could, talk to spirits, I was like, I think I'm going crazy. And he was like, well, if you think you are, then you're not.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you have the wherewithal to realize crazy,
Yeah.
right?
But there's so many things that we can do. So I do want to encourage people that if you've watched this video and some of the things that Chris and I have said today do resonate with you, possibly in a way that you hadn't thought about before, challenge yourself, enjoy the process. Ask yourself what would bring joy to me today that has the aspect of nature. And the other thing that I hear my spirit guides talking about is remember that there's a big difference between going out and just walking through nature and just thinking I'm on a walk, I'm in nature, and actually being in the moment and actually not
Mm.
turning off your phone, not putting any earbuds in, but allow yourself to fully connect with the nature around you. Again, asking permission for that nature to connect with you, and then be grateful. That's the other thing. Being grateful for the beauty of the colors, of the sounds, of the energy and the vibration that it's bringing in. I am constantly told by my guides that that makes a huge difference on how you are refueled and how your
Oh,
body is changed, because
yes.
it's your intention that sets the vibration of what's about to happen.
The gratitude is just, and I love what you said. Like not too long ago, I went to an ancient forest, and before I entered, I said, "Beautiful forest, can I please enter you?" And they're like, "Okay." And
I know.
I
They're
said,
like, yeah, sure.
"Elementals and bees and trees and beings, can I please enter your home?" And
Mhm.
they're like, "Okay." But one of the things that they wanted me, like, because I'm open like you are, they said you have to tell the people that you have to enter with honor and with reverence, and to not hurt us, and to be kind, and you know don't take down any trees or plants unless you have to, and don't hurt any animals if and so the main word that they told me and they asked me to tell the people was reverence. So they said when we enter their home, to enter, honor them, and enter with reverence, a deep respect for, because it's not just a forest, it's their home.
Mhm.
So
Absolutely.
anyway, I said that
Yeah.
in another video that I haven't even put out yet, but now I'm saying it because
Mhm.
it's so important. They wanted me to tell the people this. And I
Yeah.
saw fairies and I saw, maybe two different, I know it sounds crazy, but I'll just say it. It's so like two
Just
different
say
shaped, like Bigfoot, like a tall one, and then a short, really wide one. And then I saw like a humanoid that was like 6'6" or 6'8", but
it.
but they're invisible, but that they're there. And then I saw a short one that was about 5 foot with these with like these really big ears, and they welcomed me into
Into
their
their home.
home.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
it's
they sense my energy. Just I'm like them. Anyway,
yeah.
we're all together. So they gave me this message to give to the people, to when you enter, ask permission. Can I please enter your home? Because they're always there, and
Hmm.
they're just at a different
Yeah.
frequency.
Well, think about what we would do. Like if somebody knocked on our door, they they usually don't just barge in. They ask, is it okay if I come in? Or is it okay if I talk to you at the front door? It's
Right.
the
They
same
knock.
respect.
They ask. Yeah. So I asked permission, and then they said, "Okay, with honor and reverence." So now when we enter their home, we enter with deep respect and
Mhm.
honor, and honor all of them, all of the animals, the bees, the trees, the plants, the moss, even the rocks, the
Yeah.
water. The water
Oh
has
yeah.
consciousness. I know you know that.
Yeah.
Most people don't know that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just went. running on the beach. It's a little beach. Can I please run on you? They're like, okay. And
Mhm.
I said, little ocean, can I please swim on you? She's like, okay. And
Mhm.
she's alive. And guess what? The ocean actually sings. And she's singing a little bit more softly, I think, than she used to a long time ago because of some of the stuff that the cruise ships are dumping in there and some of these big tankers, but she's still singing. And when you just
Mhm.
lay there, you just feel the vibe and it's so
Yeah.
special.
Yes.
Anyway, it's in the forest, it's all around us.
Mhm.
So grateful.
Me too. I remember when I was in Greece and I was telling you that they were telling me to work into the because each week I would work into a different part. And when I was working into the water, I was like, so I ask her permission, then I go in there. But then my guides put a song in my head and I'm humming because everything that I did was
Oh,
through
yeah.
vibration and sound. And I'm like humming, and you were like, ask her to sing with you. And I was like, oh my
That
God,
is
that's such a great idea. And I did.
that. I love that. I love that.
It was great. Yeah, it was great. There is so much that we can do, even if it's just 10 seconds in your day. And it would even better if it's 10 minutes for some people, an hour, however much time you want to spend in nature, but do go envelop yourself in that because nature, Mother Earth, is calling to each and every one of us to come join her, to connect with
Yes.
her so that
Yes.
she can be our fuel, so that we can stop
Yes.
stealing energy from other people and their own emotions, depleting us, and utilize the nature on this planet that it was always intended to be in order to be that fuel that every human vessel so craves and
It's a
desires.
beautiful cycle. Yeah. Like
Mm-hmm.
the nature charges us and then we get charged and then we can charge nature. So it's like a beautiful cycle. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining me
You're
today in this
welcome,
video.
Jackie.
I'm
Very
so
welcome.
grateful for all the work that you do. Just tell us a little bit more about your website and what you're
Oh yeah, thank you
selling.
so much, Jackie. You can get our not only honey, the bee products, especially bee pollen concentrate, which is the highest frequency bee products in the galaxy, only at liquidgold.store. And you can also shop on our Insta shop, which is Liquid Gold Honey with two Y's on the end, as well as our TikTok shop. And please also like us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Liquid Gold Honey. And we wish you your highest frequency, beautiful life ever. We love you.
Excellent. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Everybody, thank you for
You're welcome.
watching.
Thank
Like he
you for
was
having
saying,
us.
oh yeah. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you know someone else that could benefit from this, definitely share it. All right,
Please
you
share.
guys, thanks so much.